One of the biggest problems in fitness isn't that people aren't trying hard enough. It's that we've been taught to only really notice the big changes. The obvious, the in-your-face changes. So like washboard abs, squatting 150 pounds, doing the splits. But what if the most important change in your body is the progress that no one else could see? The wins that make you feel better, stronger, or happier. Today, we're going to talk about the small wins your body makes when you start moving, the ones that the fitness industry rarely talks about, but the ones that actually matter the most. This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about learning how to live well on your own terms. Welcome to the Unusual Yogi Podcast, a space for living, moving, and resting beyond the wellness norm. I'm Megan, and here we talk about chronic pain and what it means to live and move differently in a body that doesn't always follow the rules. Before I even start the podcast, I want to say thank you all so much for listening, for everyone who's been supporting me these last couple of weeks. And I also wanted to share with you all that I am officially engaged. That happened the 21st of March, so I'm very happy and excited. There's also a lot of new things kind of happening in this unusual yogi kind of world, so stay tuned. Let's see what happens, and let's get back to the podcast. So a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the myth that you need to be flexible before you start moving. Today, I want to talk about what happens when you start and why a lot of people actually miss the progress they're actually making. I know that a lot of us, unfortunately, want progress to be both quicker and linear. We want to see the work we put in take off, and we really want to see the difference. Your brain is wired to look for big, obvious rewards, things that feel immediate, that are visible, Small and slow changes, your brain doesn't typically register those as success the same way, unless you intentionally learn how to celebrate them. Because sometimes, even when progress is happening, it could kind of feel like nothing is. For some of you, maybe you want to see that instant muscle growth or like a beautiful, bodacious booty, if you will. Maybe some of you even want to lose a little bit of weight, or I think for a lot of us here, at least those of you who are obviously listening to my podcast, you maybe want to instantly start feeling better. If it just took away a quarter, even half your pain, then putting in the work might feel more worth it than maybe it feels right now. The problem is, if we push ourselves too hard in the name of thinking that we're doing what we're supposed to do while exercising, our bodies can actually hurt worse than a lot of other people. It's not your regular muscle ache or DOMS either for a lot of us with chronic pain. It's the kind of ache that you get from having like the flu, or that you've pushed yourself so hard that you gave yourself a flare, which has happened to me more than once. The truth is, any of the progress you want to make when it comes to movement or strength or flexibility or anything in between, really, it will take time. It takes time to learn your limits. It takes time to learn what feels good and right in your body. And it takes a lot of time to know what's actually supportive for you. So no, it won't be linear. And the small wins that actually matter are probably going to be the things that you or other people might normally overlook. So why do people overlook real progress? It's an interesting thing, because you'd think that the real progress would be the progress and the milestones that we actually celebrate, right? But see, we're conditioned to think that we should only celebrate the end instead of the journey that will get us there. And I'd like to say that the fitness industry is a big part of that because the fitness industry has truly trained us to look for dramatic change. Weight loss, visible muscle definition, big transformations. But the problem is the body rarely changes that dramatically or that quickly. Think about it. I'm sure that if you follow any trainers on social media, like I do, I follow quite a few, you'll always see them. I always see them post these like amazing before and after pictures, these big changes that happened in these people's bodies that really happened at the end of their fitness program. And we don't ever get to see the middle parts. If the person actually became more aware of their body, if they actually started building proprioception, if they learned how to measure their ability to do something based off breathing, if they learn how to engage the right muscles or hold proper form for that matter. Instead, we end up using weight loss or muscle definition as our success metric. We use dramatic transformation stories based off sometimes, quite frankly, unrealistic timelines. And we use visual images to set an example of what change is and at times what it should look like. And it hurts people. It hurts people, especially with chronic pain and health conditions, because we end up getting this wild idea in our mind about how change is supposed to look and how long change is supposed to take. And we don't get the same validations of others like us who go through the ups and downs of having bodies that aren't consistent. We have no idea if something is actually working, especially if we're still getting flare ups 3 months out, or if sometimes working out feels easy breezy beautiful. And other times, just the idea of a workout adds to your fatigue. We start thinking that maybe whatever we're trying to do or achieve isn't working, which is depressing, honestly, because when you don't see progress, your brain doesn't go, oh, this is just a slow adaptation process. Instead, it goes, this isn't working. Let's just stop. When something feels like it's not working, it becomes really hard to stay consistent, especially if you're already dealing with pain, fatigue, or just general low energy and not feeling great in your body. And I know for a lot of us, it makes us feel like failures on the regular. And without the right person in our corner who can help us stay motivated and on track, sometimes we give up. And if the only progress you're looking for is dramatic transformation, you are going to miss 95% of the real progress your body makes. So, what is that 95% anyway? It's the little big things, the subtle changes, the improvement you may not notice until you really notice. It's realizing that you're actually standing taller or sitting straighter. It's sleeping more deeply and restfully than you ever have before, or at least before you started. It's maybe feeling less stiff overall in your body, or maybe being able to touch your toes without giving yourself any pain. Even better, maybe it's being able to balance on one foot, or straight up falling and tripping less. Or, and my favorite possible improvement, maybe your flare-ups become less strong or more infrequent. Sometimes the first sign that movement is helping isn't strength or flexibility. It's something like waking up and realizing that your body doesn't feel like it used to, or that you're just simply performing better than you did. I think about one of my students and how after a couple of weeks of training with me, I asked them how one of their injuries were faring after all of our sessions together. And it was like a light bulb moment for them. Like it just clicked over their head. They realized that their injury wasn't bothering them as much as it used to. They told me that they actually went to go see their physio, and even their physio noticed that their muscles were getting stronger and that everything was kind of like holding better. Then they started to notice that they were able to hold the right muscles and feel the exercise in the right muscles when they were doing the workout with me, which is huge. It's huge because a lot of these changes are delayed. Your body doesn't always show you the progress while it's happening. Sometimes you need to wait to see and notice that change happening in your body because it will only show you weeks later. And then you suddenly realize, wait, this used to hurt more. Or you start thinking to yourself, that actually used to feel harder. And these are the kind of improvements people end up overlooking because they're focused on waiting for the big changes to happen. You forget that these are little things that actually end up making the bigger things happen. I'm going to be real right now. Progress often looks boring, and that's actually a good thing. It's what builds more than just muscle or flexibility or whatever it is that you're looking for. It's what builds grit and tenacity. It builds the determination that you need to be the person you want to become. Did you know that gentle movement can improve your nervous system regulation, your stress response, your body awareness, both interoception and proprioception, and your pain tolerance? When we move gently and consistently, our nervous system starts to feel safer in the body. And then we start to really trust our body and learn our own internal cues. And that matters way more than what most people realize. Because when your nervous system doesn't feel safe, it creates tension, tightness, and even increases your perception of pain. So one of the first real signs of progress isn't strength or flexibility. It's your body relaxing its guard. One of the first signs of progress isn't strength. It's feeling safe enough to let go of tension. Starting to move, even if it's just once a week, giving yourself a little bit of time to stretch, will help you reduce tension, improve mood, and even change how you experience pain. Even small amounts of movement can lower stress hormones, improve circulation, and help your body come out of that constant bracing state. For some, learning how to properly engage your muscles can actually help with more than just pain relief. But because engaging properly could help your posture, you may even begin to feel better simply from holding yourself better. For people living with chronic pain, one of the biggest wins isn't strength or weight loss or flexibility or anything else. It's feeling less afraid of movement and eventually, hopefully, feeling less pain. One of the biggest milestones in movement isn't getting stronger, it's feeling safe in your body again. One of the best things you could get from exercise as somebody with chronic pain is learning what works for you and finding the thing that actually helps you and doesn't hurt you. There are so many variations of success that you could use to measure how you're doing that are more than big and extravagant changes in your body. Some of these examples include improved energy, yes, even for people with chronic fatigue, reduced pain recovery time, and improved confidence in movement. These seem like such little things, but in the grand scheme of things, they're huge. Imagine even just waking up with a little bit more energy daily. And over time, you might notice that your recovery time improves. Maybe not overnight, but gradually. And know that slowly, with time, you'll start feeling more confident in what your body could do. Even if it takes a long time, even if everything just feels so minuscule at first. And even if some days are worse or better than others, realize that every single time you show up, you improve. Maybe in just little ways, maybe one day in a big way. But why not celebrate the little things? Why not consider them successes? And the successes that you might find that others might deem as little successes, but are huge successes for those of us with chronic pain, can be as simple as, that's Selena, they could be as simple as moving when your energy is low and waking up one day realizing that your body hurts a lot less. I've asked myself this question, especially when I didn't notice any progress or when I feel tired and unsure about exercise. What if progress meant recovering faster after flare-ups? Honestly, maybe it's something that my brain has told me that's true and isn't. But personally, I've noticed that for the most part, between finding out I was celiac and getting better at exercising more, I've actually had less intense flare-ups as a whole. Like I had a bad flare-up, as a lot of you know, a couple weeks ago, and it didn't last over 9 days like it used to. It lasted something like 5 days. It was intense, but then it was gone. My point is, progress doesn't always mean that things stop happening. Sometimes it means they happen less often. They're less intense. You recover faster. And that is progress. Even if it doesn't look dramatic, and even if it's not your ultimate end goal, it still matters and it should still be celebrated. I think what a lot of people don't understand is that the small wins are actually the foundation of the big ones. Think about it. Every time you actually celebrate your little moments, the changes that make the big ones eventually happen, you're making it easier to show up for yourself again next time. The body doesn't change in dramatic leaps. It changes in tiny adaptations that build on each other over time. So if you're looking for dramatic changes, I hate to be the one to tell you, but you're unintentionally setting yourself to feel like you've failed, even when you haven't. And look at me. Look at me. I don't want you to quit. The people who stay consistent with movement aren't the ones who see the fastest results. They're the ones who learn how to recognize the small ones. In a world where the fitness community celebrates dramatic transformation, celebrate the small things, the small wins, the tiny changes. Healing bodies usually grow through small changes. So notice those tiny little micro progresses. Tell yourself, I did that. And if you feel like it, share it in the comments. Tell me what small win has happened in your body recently. Or tell me about the progress that you might have been overlooking before coming to this episode, because I'd love to know. I'd love to celebrate with you, honestly. I think that the more we have a community and a space for sharing those things, the happier we're going to be and the more consistent we'll end up being. The good news is, if you're showing up for your body, even imperfectly, there's a good chance that progress is already happening. Often, the most meaningful progress that your body makes is the kind that no one else could really see, but the ones that you feel. The ones that actually end up changing your life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support the Unusual Yogi podcast, the best and biggest way that you could help is to leave a review, share this episode with a friend or someone you think might need to hear this message. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube at The Unusual Yogi. Or, newly, you could actually join my Discord channel, The Unusual Yogi Community, where you could talk to people like you about really anything under the sun and maybe celebrate some small wins. If this episode resonated with you and you'd like to support the podcast in a tangible way, there is a small support link in the show notes. There's no pressure. Just know that it helps keep this space sustainable and reach more people who actually might need it. Until next time, take care of yourself in ways that actually work. Thank you again. I'm so excited to be sharing all of these things with you. I'm so happy to be back. I will be posting bi-weekly now, so leave those comments and I'll see you on the next episode.